Have you read a story in the Draoithe Saga and come away with a classic case of immersion after effect? Let me guess, there are questions which remain unanswered even as the magic expanded, adding another layer to the dream. The grand desire to turn the page to discover what happened next ended with the last leaf turned. If you're asking where the remedy for the book Hangover is, you know the answer: read another story. But you aren't ready for the next tale, not yet. The dust needs to settle before you pick up the next volume. So you have found your way here. You aren't alone. Even the author can't get enough. As you hear this, Ophelia Key writes on. But allow me to offer you a possibility, a reflection on the tale you recently finished, and a way to revisit the story to ease the story blues. Welcome to the Draoithe Saga After Party. Warning, spoiler alerts ahead. Turn back now if you wish to read the story blind.
Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, picture this.
Yeah.
You've got an immortal kingdom, right? Centuries old. Powerful dragons, loads of intense magic. Classic fantasy setup.
Exactly. But then it hits you with this surprising tenderness, really complex emotional stuff, and honestly, some real laugh-out-loud moments, too.
That's totally where we're jumping in today.
Yeah, we're taking a deep dive into Ophelia Key's big, sprawling Draoithe Saga. We're focusing specifically on Nephilim's claim and our info. It's coming straight from the source, excerpts from the book itself.
So we get a direct look inside.
Pretty much, yeah. A window into this really fascinating world.
Okay, so our mission today, pull out the key stuff from these pages. We want to get to the heart of how Draoithe started.
Yeah.
Figure out these complex relationships, sometimes really unconventional ones.
Definitely unconventional.
And, shine a light on the challenges these immortal folks actually face. Stuff you might not expect.
The idea is to give you a real shortcut. You get clued into this captivating saga without needing to read, hundreds and hundreds of pages yourself.
Sounds good. So where do we start? What's the foundation here?
Right, so to really get Nephilim's claim, you kind of need to understand the bigger picture first, the Draoithe Saga. Ophelia Key talks about a saga as this long, often epic story. It chronicles the whole dramatic history of a group, like a whole society.
So it's not just one hero's journey, it's bigger.
Much bigger. It's like a massive chronicle, and she breaks it down into smaller chunks, miniseries. Valkyrie Riders is one, and Nephilim's claim is part of that.
Got it. A living history, almost, of this immortal kingdom, Draoithe. You mentioned it was founded in the Lean deal.
That's the place, yeah. And its core purpose, it's pretty deep. Fighting whoever is messing with the magic balance of something they call the dream.
Okay, hold on. Unbalancing the dream. What does that actually mean? And
Yeah.
how does a whole kingdom fight something like that? It sounds abstract.
It is, and it's a huge task. Think of the dream as like the magical foundation of their reality. If it gets unbalanced, big trouble. Distortions, danger. It could even threaten their whole world.
Wow. Okay, so who's leading this charge?
That would be Luke Mendez. He's the Dire Wolf King. They also call him the Rurek. That's basically the top dog, the Supreme Druid Overlord King. And get this, he rules with dragons.
Rules of dragons. Okay, that's serious power.
You bet. And his big vision for Draoithe, he's building this massive retreat, like a sanctuary for immortals. It's actually under construction as the story unfolds.
A safe haven. Cool. And helping him out are these Dragon Knights.
Yep, the elite Dragon Knights. Smoke, who we'll talk a lot about, and his brothers are key players here. They're the official protectors of the realm of Draoithe, sworn to serve Luke.
Right, protectors. But what really caught my eye was why they serve. It says they do it to be free. Only the true king of the dragons will set you free. That sounds
like they weren't free before. Yeah, that's the implication. There's a history there, some kind of restriction or maybe even servitude. Serving Luke is their path to, real freedom. Their allegiance runs deep.
Okay, interesting dynamic. Now let's bring in the main players for Nephilim's claim. Kira Berhnun, sometimes called Angel.
That's her, Kira. She's a Nephilim, offspring of an archangel and a human woman, which is already pretty unique. She's 643 years old, blue eyes, dark brown hair, and this really distinct scent, citrus and pineapple.
Citrus and pineapple, okay, memorable.
Right, and importantly, she's a Valkyrie Alpha, so warrior spirit, definitely, but also that alpha dominance, leadership qualities, and kind of unexpectedly, she's also a very talented concert pianist for Draoithe.
A warrior pianist Nephilim, got it. And then there's Smoke.
Smoke, the alpha male dragon, ancient, centuries old. And he had apparently been searching for Kira for, wait for it, 6 centuries.
600 years, wow.
Yeah. He's described as necromantic, so some connection to death magic or the dead, powerful stuff, and first order, meaning he's like top-tier dragon royalty, foundational power. And he hadn't actually been in his true dragon form for 300 years until things started kicking off with Kira.
3 centuries as not a dragon. Huh. So how do these two finally cross paths after all that time? Must be dramatic.
Oh, it's dramatic, all right. And definitely not your typical meet cute. It starts with a rescue. Smoke and his brothers find Kira and some other Valkyries trapped in a warehouse, held captive.
Okay, action scene. What happens to the captors? You mentioned grim fates earlier.
Yeah, grim is putting it mildly. They get forcibly turned into these dragons-worn servants. They lose everything, their magic, their names, their identities. They're bound to the dragons who turn them. And the worst part, if they step into sunlight, they literally just get erased. Poof.
Erased by the sun. That's terrifying. Talk about a deterrent and a serious display of dragon power.
Absolutely. It sets the tone. So after that kind of introduction, Smoke's pursuit of Kira is, well, it's intense. And definitely not standard romance procedure.
I can imagine. How does he court someone after, turning her captors into sun-fearing servants?
Well, it's very alpha dragon. He basically tries to make it impossible for her to leave, but by providing everything. He sets her up with this amazing personal space, a wardrobe just overflowing with clothes, lingerie included. Oh, yeah. Shoes, a personal servant, a cell phone. Us gotta stay connected, right? Room service on tap. And my favorite bit, what he calls a pet lizard.
A pet lizard? Wait, is that code for something, or?
It's kind of an inside joke, seems like, among the dragons, maybe, about their mates becoming Valkyries later. It just shows this little flash of humor amidst all the power and intensity.
Yeah, that lightens things up a bit.
Yeah.
So all these gifts, the setup, it's all about making her stay. Making her see him as the provider, the protector.
Exactly. He's trying to make her comfortable, safe, maybe overwhelm her a little with care, so she'll stick around and accept him.
But it's not that simple for Kira, is it? The source talks about an alpha's dilemma.
Right, because on one hand, she's understandably scared of his sheer power. I mean, he's an ancient first-order dragon. That's primal fear territory.
Makes sense.
But at the same time, she feels incredibly safe with him, like fundamentally protected. The dilemma comes in because she's an alpha too. She's not naturally submissive.
So her own nature clashes with what might be, I guess, traditionally expected of a mate for someone like Smoke.
Precisely. That internal tug-of-war, fear versus safety, her own alpha instincts versus his, that's a huge part of her story, drives a lot of the tension.
Really compelling stuff. Okay, so while they're navigating that, there's the external threat. Peter Elliot.
Yeah, the main antagonist in this part of the story, Peter Elliot. He's a bear shifter, and chillingly, he owns a pharmaceutical company. Global connections.
Pharma company. That immediately sounds bad in a fantasy context. Organized resources.
Exactly. He's not just some random monster. He's the guy behind the warehouse incident hunting immortals for, and the book calls them this, crazy medical experiments.
It's dark. How's he finding them? Are immortals easy to track?
Apparently, Elliot has ways, sophisticated ways. The sources mention he actually implants microchips under their skin to track them.
Microchips. Wow. That's
Got a glimpse.
clinical. Dehumanizing.
Totally. It shows how methodical he is. Now, his motivation, initially, you might think he's maybe looking for a cure for himself. He's a shifter. Maybe he wants to be fully human.
A sympathetic villain angle, maybe?
That's what it could seem like. But the sources pretty quickly reveal something much more sinister. He's not trying to cure magic. He wants to control it, control other people's abilities.
So it's about power. Seizing power in the immortal world.
Exactly. And he's ruthless. Kidnapping, assault, brutality, those are his tools. It completely shifts him from potentially tragic figure to just terrifying bad guy. Really raises the stakes.
Definitely. Okay, so big threats, big internal conflicts. And then there's this shocking event involving Smoke's death. But death seems complicated here.
Very complicated. He appears to be killed by Grizz, another bear shifter. But here's the massive twist.
Kira planned it.
Kira orchestrated the whole thing. She saw it as the only way forward. Partly to help Grizz heal from his own past trauma, but also, and this is crucial, to allow Smoke to keep his honor, his oath, as a Dragon Knight without actually, killing Grizz.
Whoa. Okay, that reframes sacrifice completely. Especially since Smoke isn't easy to kill, right? He's got this special invincibility.
Right. The only way to truly destroy him is if his Valkyrie Kira uses his own spear against him. So this death was staged in a way, but with real consequences and purpose, a calculated risk for healing and honor.
Incredible. And the spear itself is significant too. There's an inscription.
Yes. This is fascinating. The spear reads, Maddox Talog, Smoke Dragon Knight, Protector of the Realm, Angel Lover.
Angel Lover. So it connects directly to Kira, even calling her Angel before she fully becomes his Valkyrie.
Exactly. Maddox Talog seems to be his perhaps true or original name. It ties his identity, his duty, and his bond with Kira, his destiny, really all together etched onto his weapon. Hints that this was meant to be.
That's deep. Which leads us to Kira's big decision, right? To actually claim him as her mate.
The ultimate commitment. And its transformation. A huge one. By claiming him, she becomes his angel and his Valkyrie.
And gets powers.
Oh yeah, a whole suite of new abilities. Dragon magic, boosted strength, flight, she can control dragon fire, and critically, the power to destroy the invincible. The only one who could truly kill Smoke.
While keeping her own Nephilim magic.
She keeps that too. It's an addition, not a replacement. But the ritual itself, it's intense. She has to drink his blood.
Drink his blood, okay.
Yeah, that's what fuses their souls together. It's permanent. Irreversible, fundamentally changes who she is.
Wow, okay. So Draoithe is growing, changing. We've got Kira and Smoke's intense bond, but other stories are unfolding too. You mentioned Grizz.
Right, Grizz, the bear shifter involved in Smoke's death. He's identified as the last king, the Ruiri. That's a big deal, implies a significant lineage and destiny for him. He initially has some friction with Smoke, especially after being rescued and then magically altered by his own mate, Melody.
Melody.
Yeah.
She's the Rebanak.
Yeah.
The queen figure.
That's right. So Grizz's journey is about coming to terms with his past, his rescue, and stepping into this powerful kingly identity he didn't fully grasp at first.
Lots of finding your true self here. What about Artie and Duncan? Duncan is also called Fox.
Yeah, Duncan or Fox, another Ruiri, another king. Their story is complex. Artie makes what looks like this terrible confession, like she broke an oath.
But his trick?
Kind of. It's revealed she did it deliberately, a desperate move to basically force Duncan to stop hiding. He was acting like a quiet, unassuming librarian, but she knows he's this incredibly powerful druid king.
And she needs him to be that king.
Desperately. So she creates this crisis to shock him into embracing his true power. It's about pushing someone you love to be who they're meant to be, even if it looks like betrayal on the surface.
Intense. And there's also Riker.
A vampire.
A vampire, yeah. He's unique. He got turned into this hybrid, part vampire, part panther shifter, and also something called a Zuhasi Unbound, which is like a powerful Slavic weatherworking spirit.
How did that happen?
He was mauled by Lily, a panther shifter. The combination of magics resulted in him, the vampire.
Ah.
He has this funny quirk. He can still taste food, enjoys the flavor, but can only actually consume liquids. Ah, the eternal Epicurean tragedy. Can taste, but not eat solid food.
Pretty much. Adds a bit of color, doesn't it? And amidst all this high-stakes drama and magic...
There's humor. You mentioned the pet lizard thing.
Yeah, that running joke is great. And also the idea that these incredibly powerful ancient dragons can sometimes be discussed almost like trade commodities by Luke and his council.
Like assets. That's unexpected.
It really grounds them, you know, shows they're part of a system, a society, not just mythical beasts floating above it all. It adds this layer of like pragmatic weirdness that feels quite real.
It does. As this society builds, people are finding new roles.
Definitely. The kingdom is literally under construction, and so are people's places in it. Raven, another character, finds a new path, becoming a bartender in Draoithe.
And Kira, the concert pianist.
She officially signs on, gets a proper contract, $80,000 a year, plus housing and benefits. Her extraordinary talent finds a formal place within the structure of this growing immortal sanctuary.
It's amazing how it all weaves together, the epic fantasy, the romance, the danger, the employment contracts.
Ah, yeah, it covers a lot of ground.
So wrapping this up, from Kira and Smoke's pretty extraordinary journey to just the whole intricate world of Draoithe, what we've seen today really shows these incredible layers, doesn't it? Fantasy, sure, but also deep romance, really complex characters changing and growing.
Absolutely. The transformations, the loyalties, they're fierce. It shows that even for immortals, maybe especially for immortals, growth and adapting are constants. We saw how relationships totally redefine power dynamics.
And how sacrifice can be this like profound act of love, not just loss.
Exactly. And how people's true selves, their real identities, often emerge when things get toughest or strangest, like with Artie forcing Duncan's hand.
It's a world where, like you said with Smoke, even death isn't straightforward. It can be part of healing, an act of love. It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it?
It does.
So maybe the final thought for you to ponder is this. In a world like Draoithe,
where the basic ideas of sacrifice, who you are, what you owe to others, where all that gets turned on its head, what might we need to reconsider about those same ideas in our own lives?
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support. For more, visit opheliakey.com. Welcome to the dream. Sincerely. Okay.